It's right again. Where's my wrong hand? I think I'm a right-hand waver, even though I'm a left-hander. I thought I would do a video about my favourite apps that I use to revise and learn Japanese. I've done a video on the reason why I'm learning Japanese, and I've done a video on how I learn it, like what things I focus on. So I thought the next natural step would be which apps I use, and I'll go into more detail about them. I just want to start by saying I am not, like, I go through phases of studying and phases of not studying. So I go from like studying with my textbook 3 times a week to not studying at all for 3 months and then picking it back up. But the only constant in my life are apps, because they're so easy to use on a daily basis. You can just use them when you're on the train, on the way to work, on the way home from work, on the way to anywhere. You can just pick up your phone, grab an app, and you're good to go. So I thought, what better way to learn a language than, let's face it, through an app. And so I thought I'll do a video on them because they are really the only constant in my life, apart from crisps, my love for dogs, my love for pasta. Well, there's a few constants in my life, but apps, Japanese apps are one of them. There are so many apps out there, so other people probably use different ones, but these are the ones that I've tried and tested. My number one requirement when I look for a Japanese app is it really clear? Does it separate vocabulary, kanji, grammar? Does it separate the N levels, N5 to N1? Or I look for, is it interactive? The first app I would recommend is something called Satori Reader. This is an app where you can go to stories or articles and you can read it, click on any words you don't know, and they're hyperlinked to show you the meaning of the word. And you can also play the audio as you read it for each section, so it doesn't continuously play. You do have to click play for each section. I don't know if you can change that, I haven't found that.
僕のおじいちゃんとおばあちゃんは奥日光という山奥に住んでいた。
It's really, really good though. It has the Japanese hiragana and kanji and katakana. It doesn't have the English. But as I said, you can literally click on any word in the article and it will tell you what the word means. Now, obviously, because it doesn't have English, I don't know if you can set English actually. You can also choose to change, like a lot of people have issues with spaces. If you're starting out, I have got friends that have started out and said they find it really hard because there's no spaces like in English or Latin alphabets. So you can add spaces, and it's really nice because you can just listen to any article. You can add words to your study list so you can go over them. You can slow the sound down. But even if you're a beginner, you can never start listening to Japanese too early just to get used to the sound, the rhythm, the intonations of words. So I think it's really useful to just, this app's amazing even if you're a beginner, intermediate or advanced. The next app I recommend is such a useful app. It's Anki Droid. My Anki Droid, when I changed phones, I lost all of my cards, so I've had to start adding the cards back recently. So it looks blank, but that's just because I got a new phone recently. The thing that I like about the Anki Droid app is that you can create your own flashcards, but you can also go into the central part of the Anki Droid app, and it's like a community where everybody uploads their flashcard decks and you can download, you can upvote, you can comment on them. I don't know any other apps that work like this, so I just really liked it because I thought from like a community perspective it's really nice to know what's good and what's not. I usually use it when I'm taking notes or yeah, when I'm studying with my books as well. But yeah, it's a really good app. I think everybody that studies Japanese uses this app. Okay, so another one of my favourite apps is probably one of the most useful apps of all time that you could ever have. My study buddy Serena, she introduced me to this app, I think. So it's a Japanese dictionary app. It's called Takoboto. Pretty funny. It is invaluable. You can search in Japanese or you can search in English. You can even search via kanji by counting the number of strokes that you're seeing and you're like, what the heck is this kanji, which happens to me all the time. And you can count via stroke. So for example, if your kanji has 5 strokes, you just go to the 5-stroke range and then you type in the kanji and you can build up the radicals until you find the kanji that you are looking for. It's also really useful because when you search for a word or a verb or a noun or an adjective, it separates things into kanji or phrases, so it shows you the kanji and which stroke order to write it in, and the kanji it's compiled of. It also has phrases. If it's a verb, it also includes forms, so how to conjugate the verb. This is the #1 most useful thing of all apps of all time, well for me anyway. It's also really cool because you can create favourites. They include pre-made lists. So they have vocabulary from N5 to N1, kanji, counting. Counting is so annoying. So it's really, really cool. It's one of the few apps that has all this and I love it so much. The next app that I absolutely love is, it's called Jpro. Jpro, I love it because it's so detailed and it's so organised and it breaks down everything perfectly. So you have your vocabulary, your grammar, your kanji and your quizzes. It includes different books, like it will include the Mina books, which are really expensive, and it includes them in here, which is amazing. Obviously it doesn't include the entire book, but it includes like a breakdown of the book. It's really nice because it has vocabulary by topic or general articles, has a translation section, it has a test section, a favourite section, you can just go through them all. I really love it. It includes all the levels. It is honestly like my dream app, apart from Takoboto, but they're just different apps. They're nice companions. So I really love this app. Would recommend for all people. This is like a newer addition to my apps, this little apps tray, my Nihongo apps tray, but it felt at home right away, settled in. Another app that I love is the NHK News app and the NHK News World app. So the newsreader are news articles that you can click on and they're updated every day. Sometimes they include just photos, other times they include videos. It can look really dry when you first open it and you're just like, oh my god, this is an assault of kanji, which it is an assault of kanji, but it's interactive kanji. So you can click on it and it will tell you how to pronounce it and what it means. It's so useful.
東京都は今日午後3時時点の速報値で都内で新たに95人が新型コロナウイルスに感染していることを確認したと発表しました。1日の感染の確認が100人を下回るのは先月8日以来です。
Bit dry, but really useful. But to brighten things up a bit, because obviously this app is really useful. To brighten things up a bit, the NHK World News app, which is an on-demand app, so they upload all their videos and documentaries, the little mini programs, the longer programs, and they compile them. And the only thing I would criticise about the World News app is it doesn't include Japanese audio and then English subs. It dubs things. I avoid dubs. Even if I don't speak a language, I will avoid dubs. Like, I hate it.
Welcome to Bento Expo, your guide to the...
I think just like the random accents they get over the dubs, you're just like, really? So like everybody in the world knows now, because I've mentioned it like in every YouTube video ever, that I've got Japanese bath, and on a Sunday I'll just put the documentary on my phone, put it in the bathroom, get in the bath and just watch an NHK documentary, and it's just so nice. So I wanted to include that app just so it's just more of like a culture learning than a language learning, but it kind of goes nicely with the news app, which is Dry. The last app I'm going to discuss is the Radio Nippon app. This is a Japanese radio app, but it also includes podcasts, which is amazing because sometimes you don't always want to just buffer a live radio station, radio show. But the podcasts, they're obviously like there's no music in between, so you can really focus on just listening to them.
おはようございます。武田哲也です。
おはようございます。水谷香奈です。
ワクチンの話を続けております。見たいと思います。はい。ラジオネームラーメン大好きクエンさんの方で、埼玉県29歳の男性の方。
I really, really like this. I think like it's never too early to start listening to Japanese. So even if you're a beginner and you don't have a clue what people are saying, that's okay. Most intermediate level people don't have a clue what they're saying either, but it's really nice because if you want to study but you don't want to sit down in front of a book, and you just want to like listen whilst you're walking somewhere, doing something, it's really, really useful. You get used to the way the language flows, the intonations, the way people speak. It's really, really good. There's some news podcasts and there's some more casual podcasts. I really like it because you can listen to the way and the language that's used in news reporting. It's like obvious in English as well. The way people speak English in news reporting is not the way. Can you imagine going around speaking like news reporters? Today on BBC News, wearing a mouth covering has become something of debate. So I'm sure people watching this also have their favourite apps and want to recommend some. So if you do want to, just head to the comments and make a comment so that everyone can see it and everyone can learn from it. And also, if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up so other people can find it, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. And yeah, thanks for watching.